Madam President, this will be your new office from today. The relocation of your official residence has also been completed, and the entire medical team has been brought along as well. Rest assured that information regarding this move has been shared on a need-to-know basis only. I understand that, following the loss of New York, you wish to direct the reconstruction efforts from Central Knot City, but in light of recent separatist activity on the eastern seaboard, we no longer consider it safe. We will see to it that the people continue to believe you are in Central, and Bridges HQ will operate as normal. As per your orders, the network research teams and delivery systems management have all been covertly transferred here to Capital Knot City. We are doing our utmost to expedite testing of the Cairo network link between Central and Capital, while not neglecting your immediate medical needs, of course. This will be our base of operations for the next stage in the fight to rebuild America. Madam President, I'm happy to report that the trial run was a success. The connection between Central and Capital was established without incident. No chiral spikes or other irregularities. The Cupid functioned within acceptable parameters as well. There's still a lot of work to do. Chiral holograms, chiral printing, and data recovery have yet to be proven viable. But the confirmation that data can be sent via the chiral network is a huge step forward for the UCA. Our next step will be to use Cupids to establish connections with the other cities. Preparations for the second expedition are already underway. We're still trying to track Sam down, but as soon as he's back with us, he'll be given his new command. When people hear MULES, they think junkies driven crazy by a desire to steal supplies we so desperately need to survive. Lucky for us, not all couriers are predisposed to this condition. Not all mules, in fact. They were professionals once, and some still are. Some even complete proper deliveries from time to time. Fragile Express has been known to use them, along with independent porters. For those at risk of losing it, they say the only way to stave off the syndrome is to join a distro organization with strong leadership and support to help keep you on the straight and narrow. Or you can strike out on your own, but that's no easy path. There's a reason guys who run solo have a reputation for being bulletproof. In the world before the Death Stranding, the online service industry was huge, possibly the biggest of them all. People wanted their lives to be smooth and stress-free, and countless companies were happy to oblige. Customers would provide information about themselves, browsing history, purchasing history, that kind of thing. And in return, they'd get a pleasant, personalized internet experience. It wasn't anything like the dystopian surveillance state people used to worry about in the 20th century. Predictive advertising, customized health tips, that sort of thing. The internet transformed our lives, and in many ways for the better. But not everyone was happy. People started to worry that it was encroaching on people's freedoms, that the price we paid for so much convenience was constant monitoring and an abdication of control. We had become members of a symbiotic surveillance society. Naturally, there are people who have similar concerns about the chiral network. There's a pretty sizable faction that wants nothing to do with it whatsoever. That said, I can't help but feel that they're being naive. There's no such thing as free lunch. Connectivity and convenience have come at a price. What's more, the stakes are a whole lot higher nowadays. We're not talking about a simple trade-off between privacy and convenience. It's the network or bust, survival or extinction, as far as humanity is concerned. Before the stranding, the whole world was connected. There were networks, social networks we called them, that people used to communicate all the time. They shared all sorts of stuff through them. A random thought, a pretty picture, a whole movie, you name it. And if you like something that someone else uploaded, you let them know by giving them, well, a like. Sounds weird, I know, but that's the truth. Eventually, someone ran tests on the users of these networks and discovered that receiving a like triggered a rush of oxytocin. The theory was that it stemmed from a sense of being acknowledged. Even though you couldn't see the person you were interacting with, it still felt like they were accepting you, praising you, and who wouldn't like that? But that same process is at the heart of the mule phenomenon. It's believed that an overdependence on the oxytocin rush provided by these kinds of interactions is a factor in porters going rogue. With this in mind, it wouldn't be wrong to characterize mules as oxytocin addicts. In essence, they're social animals at the mercy of validation. So it seems that Die-Hardman is essentially updating the president on her relocation to Capital Knot City. And the move is due to her illness and escalating dangers in the east. So it's all very secret the way it's kept. And they're rushing to get the chiral network fully operational within their new base. And part 2 of this entry confirms their network trial was a success, which is crucial for their plans to expand using Cupids and eventually to integrate Sam. Honestly, there isn't a ton to look super deep into for these first 2 entries. It's mainly important exposition. Die-Hardman is laying out that President Strand is sick for a reason, and they're keeping it heavily secretive. He also clearly establishes why they had to move everything to Capital Knot City because of the separatist activity in the east around Central Knot City. And she wanted to run the reconstruction from Central Knot, but it just wasn't safe. So it makes sense that they would go over there, and it just kind of sets up Sam's journey, right? So it's basically before we even got there. And for the next part, with the mules and the local porters, Die-Hardman challenges the common stereotype that mules are just crazed junkies. That they're just crazed maniac junkies that just do whatever. He says they're not all like that, and that they even make some deliveries. And notes that joining a distribution organization helps you avoid the mule syndrome. And he says that, having like a good support system and all this really just helps you out. But he says there's a reason guys who run solo have a reputation for being bulletproof, and that's pretty interesting. So for me, I feel like, yes, it does make sense that these organizations can help people stay on the right path. He does say it's no easy path to strike it out on your own, but bulletproof for solo runners is interesting. He follows up the difficulty of being solo with a positive trait like being bulletproof. So a negative followed up with a positive. It makes me think he means that those who do manage to make it out alone and do all that stuff while they're alone are incredibly durable and resilient at the end of that process, making them very difficult to kill. And you might become one of them if you go that path. And maybe because it's so tough, right? It's tough to achieve that level of resilience. It's tough to get there, and going solo will kind of craft you into that through just the hardship of it. I guess that could relate to Sam, or maybe not. I don't exactly know, but it's been a while since I actually played the main story. So maybe I missed something, or maybe it'll become clear in the later interviews and stuff, but that's just what I'm getting for the moment. So that's just what I got for right now. But then we have the symbiotic surveillance society, where Die-Hardman touches on, the past, where people traded personal data for online convenience. Of course, that's nowadays. But it came across, it came at a cost of their freedom. And he said it leads to a symbiotic surveillance society, is what he says. And then he warns that similar stakes, high stakes, they exist for the chiral network, framing its adoption almost as a matter of a network or bust, right? He's saying that this is it. It's a network or bust. It's survival, right? This is high risk. When I think about the term symbiotic surveillance society, it honestly makes sense. Symbiotic means both sides are working together, supposedly. The society surveilling you gets what it wants, right? Data, control, purpose, they'll get all that stuff, right? And you get your convenience. You need each other. For them to surveil you, you need to give something up. In return, you get your easy access, you get your convenience, right? So of course it feels like those doing the surveilling are giving up their morals, maybe, but they're gaining a lot, and it almost seems more parasitic, they're the ones truly benefiting most from the situation. It's interesting how many people in the game resist the chiral network. Sam often, manages to win them over because he's just genuinely trying to help. He's trying to help them out and all that, right? But this ties directly into the tagline for Death Stranding 2. Should we have connected, right? It makes you wonder if the second game will explore the negative consequences of that connection. Personally, I think it'll ultimately lean towards connection being positive. Maybe, the tagline, should we have connected, is more of a provocative question about the problems that arise from connection, rather than saying disconnection is better, So it's giving you the ideas of okay, well, there are some problems that arise from it, but they're not saying that disconnecting entirely is just better, right? There's problems to connecting, and I think they're gonna in the end say that we should connect them despite the problems. I doubt the game will conclude that we should stay isolated, because yeah, it just feels wrong. Like it just feels wrong, and it's honestly, yeah, it's just not great. I think it's definitely gonna go the route that I think it is. But again, Kojima always does different things, so who knows? You know what I mean? But either way, Die-Hardman doesn't really give his own opinion on whether this exchange is good or bad. He just explains that it is as a high stakes reality. Like I said, I kind of agree with it. It's tricky. I mean, do we really want to give away so much of ourselves, our privacy, our browser history, our autonomy, our freedoms, all this stuff that's close to us just for convenience? It's a big question, and no easy answer for a lot of us hearing the question. And finally, we have likes secreting oxytocin. Die-Hardman makes a direct link to social media likes, and he explains how these online acknowledgments can trigger an oxytocin rush, which of course feels good, but warns that overdependence on this can be harmful. And he goes as far to categorize mules as oxytocin addicts. So he's basically saying that mules in this world, the game world, are similar to people today who might become obsessed with getting likes, wanting acceptance, and seeking validation. They're at the absolute mercy of that need for validation. And that's what mules really are. Deep down, that's what they are. It's another one of those things that makes you think about our own world, that's for sure. That's really what they are. They're the same as us in very many ways. But either way, I think it's that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting from these entries. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know what you think about this and about any of the things we discussed here today. In the next episode, we will be discussing the situation after the first Death Stranding incident, the terrorist view on bridges, designing the USA flag, and finally, Bridget's necklace. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a like if you did, and I definitely appreciate it. Watch my other videos. Description down below has a playlist for all the lore readings. And if you did like this, make sure you subscribe for more discussions about the lore of different video games. If there's a video game you want me to cover, something you want to hear more about, you haven't really dived into yourself, let me know. I got you covered. If I've actually played that game, that is. If I haven't played the game, then I guess you're just gonna have to cry about that. Either way, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. You know what I'm saying? And I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. And yeah, peace.